In this video, I will be making a wingback chair because I like the old-fashioned look of that style of chair. I'm using the pattern offered by Rina Vellichor, I hope I said that name right, her free download. I'm using her tutorial, which she has labeled as a full tutorial. Is only a 6.5-minute video. I'm thankful for her free download, but I find the tutorial lacking and incomplete. Her chair turned out absolutely lovely. I looked at many other tutorials of similar type chairs on YouTube, but Rina, in my opinion, was the best I could find on YouTube. Rina's pattern was not labeled which part was which. It just had letters. The pattern lacked any details and the video does not show parts of the process, so I had to work those out for myself. I made some mistakes while making this chair, like padding parts that didn't need to be padded, so my finished chair turned out thicker than it should have been. Plus, I felt the pattern was too small for a 1/12 scale. It seemed more like a child-sized chair, not big enough for a 1/12 scale adult. I do plan to make this chair again with the experience and knowledge that I gained from trying it the first time, but I will increase the pattern size. Here is the pattern provided by Rina. You can see the lack of details. Here is her pattern where I have added the details. You might want to take a screenshot so that if you download her pattern, you can refer to this to know what all the parts are for. When I do remake this chair again, I will do a complete tutorial of the whole process in that video. So in this video, I'm just going to share the things that I learned as I fumbled through the lack of details given in Rina's video and pattern. Here I am creating the stuffed pattern in the seat cushion. I ended up not using this cushion, but later had to create another cushion that fit my chair better. The outside portions of the chair should not be padded. I could have used more layers of padding on the inside portions of the chair. Parts A, D, E, and 2C need to be padded. 2C is the seat cushion. I did not use this cushion that I created. I wound up making a different one, and I started with cutting it from foam core to give it extra thickness and then added padded on top of that. To trim the seat around 3 sides, the front and both sides, I cut a strip of fabric the length needed, folding the top and the bottom inwards so the raw edges would be hidden. That gave the chair the appearance of piping around the seat cushion. I used tag board for most of my cutout pieces. J, K, and F are outside pieces of the chair. Cover them with fabric, but do not use padding on J, K, and F. Cut your fabric to a minimum of 1/4 inch up to 1/2 inch or larger on all sides to allow the fabric to fold over to the inside around the tag board pieces. You can always trim shorter as needed. Glue the straight edges first. While working corners, be sure the fabric is glued right up to the corner, leaving the excess fabric standing out from each side. Trim the excess fabric to give that angled cut. That will remove unnecessary bulk. You may need to trim your salvage a little shorter. When doing curves, be sure to make tiny clips close together. Trim off a bit more at the corners. Glue down each tab. Trim off a bit more at the corners. Assemble the inside padded pieces first. Then add the scroll arms before adding the outside pieces. Use a thin piece of cardboard, like that of a cereal box thickness, for the arm front covers parts H and I. Do not pad those. Adding the outside pieces. The last piece to glue on is the very back outside piece, part F, and then the cushion. After that, you are ready to glue the wood base on. The G piece may need to be adjusted to fit your chair. That is the lower front part of the chair under the seat cushion. Use a thin cardboard like cereal box thickness for G and cover it with fabric without padding. 2B is the wood bottom of the chair. It is best not to cut 2B until your chair is all put together to make sure you have the right size that fits your chair. The fabric you choose can make a big difference in the size of your chair. The fabric I was using was also thicker, but I needed to use it because this color was going with the house that I intended this chair for. It matched the drapes in the room. From 1/4 inch square dowels, I used sanding files to shape the legs and then shaved off some thickness, creating a peg to insert it into the wooden base of the chair. I did glue them in place once I assured that they would fit well and that the chair sat up straight. I drilled a hole the same size as the peg tip using my hand drill. Piping is the finishing touch. Here I am making piping. I chose a thin string. I thought it was thin, but with my fabric that was kind of thick, it made the piping a little bit thicker than it should have been. I later switched to an even thinner string to make finer piping to go around the front arm panels. The thinner you can get the piping, the better it is when you're working with miniatures. The reading chair needed to have a bookshelf full of books, so I made one. The shelf is made from mostly craft sticks. The back is a piece of balsa wood. I did not record the making of the shelf, but I'm sure that I'll be making similar shelves in the future. The books are cut from scraps of foam core. I had foam core scraps of various thicknesses. The white thickness of the foam core serves very well for pages of a book. I covered them with colored scraps of cardstock from my card making supplies. Then I used a gold pen and sometimes a black pen to add lines on the spines of the books, giving them a classic look. One more thing I learned doing this process. It would have been a great idea to have a damp cloth handy to wipe excess glue off my fingertips. The glue did leave marks on the fabric that I could not remove. We live and learn through our failures and mistakes. Mary Kay once said, "We fail forward to success." My next chair of this type will be much finer. This chair was made to complete a living room for a dollhouse made from a cardboard box. My goal with that project was to make a dollhouse filled with furniture from supplies and materials I already had around the house. The whole project cost me maybe $30 to $40, and that was for the glue, which was the only thing that I had to go out and buy. See my playlist, Dollhouse Creations, for other videos on that project. I was not completely happy with the end result, but I did gain a valuable understanding through the process of attempting it. And that's the whole point of this video, a hands-on learning approach. I hope you found some valuable helps from this video so that your project will go a little smoother than mine. Join me in my future videos to learn and grow as I learn and grow in the world of crafting and miniatures. Thanks for watching.